Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new chapter of Fate Unlimited DxD. And it's been a while since I last done a chapter, at least only 2 months actually, so not that long. Maybe coming down to 3, who knows? I don't really care. But that's besides the point. Let's go back with that of a little recap. In the last part, Shiro, alongside that of Merlin, were facing against Romulus as the Counter Guardian and Grand Class a caster faced against the Grand Class Lancer Romulus, as the three servants giving it their all against one another, with Merlin trying his best to bring that Romulus should stop trying to kill Shiro. However, he has his orders and his duty as the Grand Class Lancer, orders by Gaia to kill Shiro, no matter what. Plus, not only that, before the battle also began, back at Shiro's place, Kiba wanted to know the reason on how Shiro has the true Excalibur. Why does he have a blade like that to begin with, or even able to create it, when, in fact, everybody that he cares died because of that sword? Rainer basically calls him out on it and wondering why he's basically giving Shiro the stink eye. Back with the battle, as the two servants basically, pushing Romulus back on the back foot, within him basically unleashing his true power and then using a mana burst to basically destroy the two servants, even if ended up destroying half of the forest on the outskirts of Kuo. However, Shiro and Merlin were able to stop the blast before Seraphol shows up, distracts, and basically tries to kill Romulus for attacking Sona and her peerage. However, he escapes before meeting up with Nimoy, Grand Class Rider, However, as for the peerages of Kuo, and Shiro and Merlin finally explain what's going on and what has happened for today. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 13, Answers. Currently at Shiro's place, instead of going to the Occult Research Club room or that at the Student Council room, they decide to go to Shiro's place instead, which is pretty safe, to be honest. However, little did everybody know that even though Shiro's place is pretty big, it's still pretty cramped, to be honest. With Shiro preparing tea alongside that of Rias and Rainer as well. With everybody getting their own cups. Well, except Issei, who's not a big tea kind of guy. I mean, he likes it, but he prefers Akino's tea. Finally giving the refreshments soon. Shiro was hesitant on giving Merlin his tea, as part of him basically just wanted to just throw it in his face, but deciding not to be honest. And just handed it to the white-haired court mage. Soon, Shiro basically standing at the very edge of his living room before sitting down, taking a deep breath and sighing, saying, "So, what do you want to know first?" Soon, Sona speaking up first as saying, "You say that you and Merlin here are from an organization by the name of Caldera. You told us about it when you first came to Kuo, when we found out that you had some connection to the supernatural. Care to explain what Caldera truly is?" Soon, Shiro looking at Merlin, Merlin basically nodding his head in that of confirmation. Soon, Shiro sighing once more, saying, "Caldera is complicated. On the surface, we are a security organization. Our duty is to protect those of interest for that of humanity. However, That's only, like I said, it's only on the surface and on paper. But truly, deep down, Caldera is an organization that's duty is to protect humanity and the world as well. Everybody couldn't help but be shocked at this. Some couldn't even believe in what Shiro's even said. Within, Seraphol actually still here as well, wanting to understand this too and report it back to our fellow Satans as well. Within, thinking an organization that's main duty is to save humanity and the world? But that makes no sense. If we knew an organization like that, the church would have done something about them. Or better yet, if they did know about them, they probably would have worked with them, and possibly we would have known about people attacking devils, fallen angels, and possibly other supernatural creatures as well. And yet, nothing. Is he really telling the truth? With Seraphol taking this seriously, as she's not in her usual magical girl Leviathan outfit. Instead, she's in that of a green business suit with that of a plaid pink skirt as well. Soon, Shiro saying, I know it sounds hard to believe. However, Caldera is a secret organization. Merlin saying, exactly. Way too secretive that nobody knows about. Not even your world leaders. Heck, not even you Satans know about it. Soon, Seraphol saying, so I was right. How is this possible? Soon, Sir Archer couldn't help but speak up saying, tell me, how much territories does devils have? How much influence around the world do they have as well? Soon, Seraphol basically thinking to herself, saying, I'm mainly in charge of foreign affairs for the devil race. It's my duty to basically negotiate that of territory and alliances between that of other supernatural species. For example, we have made quite a bit of a sacrifice allowing that of Sona and Rias to be here in Japan. And not only that, a lot of other towns and outskirts cities of Japan to that of devils. The Shinto has allowed this, mostly so we can gain more followers. Plus, devils aren't just here in Japan, even though this is where most devils mainly stay to gain followers. We also have territories in the Middle East, mostly small territories, given that the Hindu pantheon is mainly in charge there. We also have a few territories in Europe too, and mainly small countries though, but even so. But other than that, that's where we mainly have our most control. But Japan, however, the church does have main control over almost the entirety of Europe, alongside vampires too. The Chinese pantheon also share with that of the Hindu pantheon too, of Central Asia as well. So as devils mainly come here to Japan and only certain places around the world as well. That is the only reason that it's possible. What about Antarctica? Soon Tsubaki speaking of saying, impossible. I mean, yes, there's been a few skirmishes around the world hoping to take Antarctica, but seeing that there's no reason to even go up there, heck, most people go to the Northern Hemisphere for the Northern Lights. Soon, Riai could help but speak up saying, the Northern Lights is normally a symbol where people can gain that of high amounts of mana. Most mages only go up there so they can gain a lot to reach a high level for that of a unique and powerful spell. But finding this out, many supernatural creatures and gods forbid that of humans and any other species to go up there anymore. So, to be honest, Antarctica isn't really necessary. Soon, Merlin saying, then that's your problem. Antarctica is the base of what Caldera is actually. Hearing that, Issei saying, whoa, hold up. So you basically went to a frozen tundra, a frozen wasteland? Where the place on where Santa's going? Soon, everybody couldn't help but look at Issei with dumbfounded stupidity. Except a few people being that of Asya. Tachi speaking up saying, you really are an idiot. You know that, Hayato? with then saying, what? But soon, Shiro couldn't help but sigh, saying, the North Pole and South Pole aren't really a thing, and they're not really continents either. They're just points in that of the higher points and lower points of the Earth. Antarctica is normally below the Earth after all. With then hearing this, Issa saying, "Oh, okay, I get it now." With then Merlin saying, quote, my. And I thought my fellow Blackbeard was stupid, but this guy takes the cake. Even Jason would basically be smarter than this kid. With then soon Archie saying, that's what I thought the exact same time too. With then soon getting back to the track saying, Caldera made its base in Antarctica. Like I said, our main duty is to protect human history and also the Earth and also the world as well. But not just one world, but not just one history and not just one world. With then soon Momo saying, what do you mean by that, Shiro-kun? With then soon Tsubaki saying, you can't be serious. With then Sona also coming to the realization as well, saying, are you saying that there are more than just one world out there? When hearing those words, even Seraphol saying, are you saying that Caldera's main duty is to travel to other worlds outside of the dimensional gap and protect them? With then soon Merlin saying, ding ding ding, that's the money. However, we don't use the dimensional gap. We use that of a race shift. We use that of race shift. We travel. The first time, Caldera's first mission was quite a furious one, especially for our former master, after all. With then soon Ria speaking up saying, master? Who was Shiro? Who was your master? With then soon Shiro taking a deep breath before looking back at everyone else, saying her name was Ritsuko Fujimaru. She, a red-haired girl with that of a huge, energy, that of a huge personality, actually. Quite hyperactive and too helpful and kind for her own good, to be honest. To be fair, she wants to try and help everybody. She knows that it's impossible to do so, but she hates not to do anything to help. Hell, she's even willing to risk her own life if it means saving others as well. Within thinking, reminds me so much of myself, but unlike myself, who basically refused to think that it's impossible to save everybody, she realized that it is impossible to save everybody, but she would still at least try to do so. I guess that's the reason on why she's better than me, and why I couldn't help but follow her as well. With then soon Archer getting out of the way, saying, any rate, she was our master because she was the only one that we all served. We all basically were loyal to her and her alone. Her pain, her suffering are our pain and our suffering. She was the only person that we were loyal to more than anything. Within Merlin saying, exactly. We were her servants and she was our master. We do what she says no matter what no matter the cost. But we always made sure that she wasn't the one to suffer, even though she did put herself in dangerous situations. I guess it's one of the reasons on why she's earned our respect as well. Not afraid to get her hands dirty or even at the cost of her own life, if it means getting the job done. With then, as both basically talk about her, the girls that are basically interested in Shiro couldn't help but get jealous, such as Rias, Sona, Tsubaki, Akano, Momo, and the same also goes for Rainer as well. With even Konako couldn't help but wonder why, her senpai and the person she sees as a big brother basically speaks to this girl so reverently. Within, Issei wanted to say, is she hot, or does she, what kind of boobs, or how big her boobs are, but just keeping quiet. wanting to just continue hearing us out and not wanting to be slapped upside the head. With then, Tomoe, on the other hand, couldn't help but say, "Geez, Emiya-kun, it almost sounds like you had a crush on her by any chance, given how much you basically speak so highly of her." With then, soon after hearing that, the girls couldn't help but get catatonic before Tomoe begins feeling that of a pressure of demonic pressure basically coming down on her, as the spiky redhead couldn't help but realize that she may have said something completely and utterly stupid. But then, soon, Shiro couldn't help but sigh, saying, "It's nothing like that, Meguri. It's, if anything, the only reason we just respect her, and we are loyal to her. She always saw us as her friends, even though we only saw her as our master. But a few did basically oblige her. I won't lie, I was one of those people as well that saw her as not just a master, but also as a friend." With then soon, Merlin speaking up, saying, "But our master aside, she became throughout our time at Caldera, we were basically alongside our fellow also servants as well. We traveled. Caldea's first mission was simple, or rather, it was a tedious task that caused quite a bit of struggle on all of our parts. Our main mission was to go back. Humanity was on the brink of destruction. Hell, human history was already incinerated, which caused basically the death of basically the entire human race outside of Caldera due to a race shift." With then hearing that, Seraphal saying, That's impossible. There's no way." With then soon, Shiro saying, "The reason nobody knows about this, except a select few people, you were all stuck in that of a time fixture. Basically, human history basically was stopped, and the present time was stopped, while the current history, both past, present, and future, was gone. Humanity was basically no more, because somebody decided to change human history by going through select points in human history where they basically decided to, change key incidents in human history, such as the 100-year war between England and France. What would happen if France won the war instead of England instead?" With then thinking about this, Kiba thinking if England won, if France won, England wouldn't be expanded, and other nations wouldn't have tried to have that of a ceasefire. Instead, they would all try to band together to defeat France as well. With then soon, Merlin also speaking up, saying, "Let's also take up that of the American Revolution, for example. What would happen if the British won instead of the new Americans?" With then soon, Seraphal, who also saw this happening as well, saying, "Isn't it obvious? The British would continue to rule over would see them as still as that of the British colonies. Heck, most likely all of America would be under that of the British crown, and anyone else who tried to rebel would most likely see the same destruction as the Revolutionary Army as well. There would be no America, no new nation, no new legends as well." With then hearing that, everybody is shocked. With then soon Issei saying, "So what? You guys basically traveled back in time, preventing that history didn't change? It just makes you sound like something crazy from an anime or a video game." With then soon Shiro saying, That's what most humanity is. That's what most adventures through that of time sound like." And to be honest, it was our reality. Our main course was basically to prevent changes to human history. Our master's main duty was to make sure that everything went smoothly. However, it was easier said than done, since we had to face against fellow servants as well. Within Momo saying, "Wait, are you saying that there was another organization that survived you say that the incineration of humanity? Who else could have done that? With then soon, Merlin couldn't help but say, "You're all devils by any chance? Are you aware of the Ars Gotia by any chance?" With then soon, all of them couldn't help but have that of a shiver down their spines, just hearing that name. Not in the same way of just hearing the name God, which basically gives them a headache, but when hearing the name of the Ars Gotia, they can't help but feel like something inside of them just feels utter fear and terror. Within even Seraphal, a Satan who basically took the name of Leviathan, couldn't help but feel shivering at that name as well. With soon Seraphal saying, "The Ars Gotia, the very thing that allowed Lucifer to be turned to create that of the 72 pillars of the devil race. If I recall, it was by using a demon Lucifer was able to create all of us. It was able to create our original ancestors, allowed the devil species to even exist." With then soon Shiro saying, "You know your stuff." Within Sona saying, I didn't even know that. How is that?" Within soon Seraphal looking serious at her little sister, as this is the first time that Sona is utterly terrified looking at her big sister, as she's not looking at the clingy older sister that basically wants to put her in a magical girl uniform. No, she's actually looking at the Satan Leviathan, or rather, the Seraphal Citri that she was back in the Great War and Civil War. With then soon Seraphal saying, I'm making sure that all of you understand this. You are not to speak this to anybody. Only those who are Satan's and the original devils of the Pillar clans know about this. So if any of you even say this, no matter who you are or whatever blood you are or how important you are to the devil race, you will be either stripped of your titles and eliminated on sight. Do I make myself clear, all of you? Within hearing the authority and basically the seriousness in Seraphal's voice, all of them couldn't help but be shaken and nod. Even Raynor, who's even grown stronger, couldn't help but shake hearing Seraphal's voice, realizing that she still has a long way to go before she's on the level of a Satan. As for Shiro and Merlin, on the other hand, they couldn't care less, as they've been through a lot worse than just hearing the words from that of a mere girl who's basically ultimate class. Well, at the end of ultimate class, to be honest. With then soon within Archer continued speaking, saying, "Well, allow me to continue. The Ars Gotia, or rather, the familiar of King Solomon, the one who made a pact with all 72 pillars, and the first chosen by God, basically was the one who was in charge. However, Ars Gotia was in charge, wanting to destroy humanity, believing that they are unworthy of the world any longer. But thanks to our master and all the servants that she was able to summon and help us through that of our adventure, we were able to put down the rogue demon. But at the cost of Solomon, who was another one of our comrades and was the director of Caldera at the time, at least acting director, to be honest." Within hearing that, everybody could help but be shocked. Within soon Seraphal thinking, Solomon, another person with a code name of an ancient hero? It was after when he fell, I took up the mantle as Grand Caster. So I was in charge of all of those who bear the code name and title of Caster in our organization. But even so, it was still a heavy shoes to fill. But I tried my best, as much as I could. With then soon, everybody looking at Archer saying, "You would think after that, everything would be all right." Unfortunately, that was little than expected. turns out after we basically brought back humanity back to the world, a lot of other things happen. Shifting of of realities. Certain incidents around the world began to happen, such as the Salem witch trials began to be a lot more twisted and deep, a lot more evil as well. Even that of Yakuza began to control that of Shinjuku. We began to call these certain events anomalies, things that were never supposed to happen but ended up happening. During this time, we were also basically being looked down upon by the church and the Mage Association, with then soon Seraphal internally thinking, so the church really did get involved? But that's impossible. If we knew about this, many people, all the supernatural would know about the most powerful exorcist, and even Michael descend alongside the archangels would descend to Earth to basically take down this organization. And a mage association? Is he talking about the mages, the guilds of Europe, the ones in that of the UK? It just makes no sense. With then soon Merlin saying, try not to think too much about it. After all, there are some secrets that not even you all know about the church and about certain mage factions. Am I correct? With then soon, all of them couldn't help but agree. However, Tsubaki, alongside that of Akano, as the two queens, couldn't help but take those words with a grain of salt, believing that the two are still hiding something. Even Seraphal is still sketchy about this, but wants to possibly discover all of this by herself if need be, as the Satan of foreign affairs after all. With then, Shiro continued saying, after we took care of the anomalies, we were under that of scrutiny due to Caldera basically acting out of, their own interests. Our own master was almost close to getting the death penalty, but that all changed when the world began to change as well. Turns out branches of the world, created by that of the entity known as Gaia, the one who creates worlds as well, began to ask for Caldera, or rather the last master of humanity, our master Ritsuko, actually. So instead, to basically destroy these worlds because they were never supposed to exist. They were known as Lost Belts. With then soon, Saji can help but say, whoa. Are you saying you guys have destroyed worlds? Are you kidding me? With then soon, Merlin saying, they weren't technically worlds. They're actually parallel dimensions, to be fair. Worlds that are similar to ours in history, that took a different turn to history. Because of this, they were not truly real worlds. The people may have been real, but they weren't truly real to begin with. With then soon, Ria saying, but who decides that? Within, Shiro saying, we decided that. Or rather, Gaia and Alaya decided that. With then, everybody was shocked. And Tsubasa couldn't help but speak up saying, Gaia and Alaya? I've never heard of people like that before. With then soon, Merlin saying, not surprising. After all, they're basically entities created by the very concept of self, to be honest. With then, everybody was caught off guard, except Issei, who's still an idiot and doesn't understand what Merlin meant by that. With then Merlin speaking up saying, tell me, what would happen if a collective unconsciousness of basically every living being on this planet basically merged into one to create one living being? With then soon Sona saying that would basically be a hive mind, a legion, to be honest. amalgamation of multiple people's ideas, self, and basically wants all turn into one. If anything, they would be a monster. Within sued, Merlin saying, well, you're half right. Actually, I'm more surprised that somebody would actually call Alaya that a monster, to be honest. Well, at least somebody else would. With then looking at Shiro, and Shiro couldn't help but look at Merlin with that of a look saying, drop it. Within, Merlin continued, basically saying, well, you're half right. However, they wouldn't become a monster. Instead, they would become an entity of life itself. An entity created by the entire consciousness of humanity and every living thing, even you devils as well. They're known as Alaya, the goddess of humanity, Alaya. Within, Ria is speaking up saying, but that makes no sense. How would a goddess, you say the goddess of humanity, Alaya, but we are devils. We are not humans at all. Saying within soon, Shiro speaking up saying, you live on Earth, right? With then soon, Ria saying, well, of course we do. You also live in the masses with humanity as well, right? With then soon, Sona saying, I see, I get it now. With everybody looking at the student council president. Within, Ria also coming to a realization saying, wait, President, you don't mean... Within, she nodding saying, yes, we devils are a member of the collective unconsciousness of Alaya. Because we are living beings, having the same thoughts and mindsets. Even humans are even we devils are similar to humans, by not just by looks, but also by actions as well. Some devils, even nobles, believe that they are beneath humans and beneath other races. However, we still think and feel and react. The only reason that we act belittle them is because we have a longer lifespan. Even other races believe the exact same thing. However, as long as we have free will, as long as we can think for ourselves, we are parts of the same collective. Is that right? Within, soon, Merlin actually couldn't help but have that of wide eyes before thinking, she is a genius, Emiya. How is this girl still that in high school? She could literally give that of actual mage families a run for their money about the ideas that she says, especially the very concepts that take mages years to figure out. Then soon, Sona couldn't help but actually blush hearing the compliments from Merlin. Then however, the blush basically fades for a bit, saying, I just come to the realization. Simple as that. Within, for some reason, Archer couldn't help but get a little bit annoyed at Merlin basically complimenting Sona. Even though it's great to compliment her, he couldn't help but get annoyed at the fact that Sona seemed like she was also basking in Merlin's compliment as well. Within thinking, the hell am I thinking about? I should stop that. Within, Seraphal thinking, it does make sense. Even we Satans realize that we are no different from humans. It's the very reason on why we created the evil peace system. Because each race is basically the same as devils. We all have free will and free mind of our own. So why not have a chance? Besides just creating a population, we would all need that of understanding as well. That was Ajuka's words, to be honest. Then, soon, Sarah thinking, I should probably tell Ajuka this when I get the chance as well. Then, soon, Shiro saying, and then there's Gaia, the one that basically asked for our master's help. The goddess of Earth, the one who creates the worlds, or basically the parallel dimensions, similar to this one, actually, to be fair. To be honest, Gaia is the one that decides on which world exists and which world doesn't. Because she's basically like creating that of a tree, and basically pruning away the branches and roots that don't need to be around after all. But when there is a world that is created, that isn't created by that of Gaia, and basically creates that of an alternate timeline and a world that is doomed to destruction. It's called that of a lost belt. That's the very reason on why Caldera was called to destroy those worlds. To us, it was the last mission for those of Caldera, for us servants of Caldera after all. After that, we would basically return to our normal lives and live our duties out and live our lives the way we wish to, however we wished. As he begins lying, because once Caldera was shut down and the lost belts were destroyed, all the servants of Caldera returned back to the lost belts, as the masters and faculty basically lived their own lives as well. Either they continue living their lives as mages or scientists, or they just couldn't find a new purpose. The same way was for their own master Ritsuko, as without Caldera, without the servants, she basically just had no will to continue moving forward. Because of all of the actions that happened during the incidents, she was even close to being executed as a scapegoat for everything that has happened. But good thing that it didn't. But even so, it still didn't, change the fact on everything that has happened. After all, with then soon Momo saying, "I get it now." So that's what Caldera was. Your duties were just to protect the world and humanity as well. But it seems like you've all gone through so much. Within soon, Shiro reverts back to his spirit form, saying, "It's the reason why I'm able to do this." Technically, I'm actually in my early 20s, but mentally, I'm still a teenager, to be honest. So, yeah, with then reverting back into his human form, back into Shiro Emiya, with then saying, "So, now you all know the truth." With then soon, Rias basically going over to Shiro before placing her lips on Shiro's forehead, as everybody is shocked, and even the girls that basically are interested in Shiro couldn't help but be pissed. Within Rias saying, "Whatever, even now that I know your past, I feel a lot more closer to you. To be honest, it doesn't matter what you've gone through or what has happened. You're still Shiro Emiya. You're still the person that I cherish and hold dear, after all." With then soon, Shiro couldn't help but be shocked, before having that of a stoic look on his face again, saying, "You're always so simple-minded, Rias. But thanks." Within soon, Rainer basically tackles Shiro, saying, "Doesn't matter. You're still my Master Shiro. It doesn't. So whatever past or whatever you've done or whatever twistedness you try to do, to me, you're still you. You're still the man I fell for after all." As she basically nuzzles into Shiro's chest, with even her massive breast doing the same. With then soon, Issei saying, "Oh, you damn pretty boy, always basically getting all the girls for yourself." With then soon, Asuya saying, "Issei," as Asuya basically pinches his cheek in that of annoyance, not being noticed herself. With then soon, Sachi saying, it just sounds you've gone through so much shit, Emiya. To be honest, it just makes you even more cool, to be fair. And honestly, everything that you've done has just proved it even more." With then Merlin saying, "Well, that settles that." With then soon, Seraphil saying, "Not entirely, no. If that's the case, then why is your other comrade that you call Regulus tries to kill Shiro?" With then soon, everybody else begins to look at the white-haired and tan-skinned human. With then soon, Shiro saying, "Damn it, I was really hoping that nobody would notice or bring that back up." With then Merlin saying, "Well, we tried, but I guess it can't be helped." With then soon, they begin to explain the reason on why. As coming to Kuo after everything that has happened, with Shiro basically living a normal life back at Fuyuki, going with the same excuse that Alaya basically has done to make him part of the world of DxD after all. Alaya has decided to choose Shiro as her champion, and because of that, Shiro has so much potential to possibly and maybe destroy the world because of this, being the champion of a concept. So Gaia decided to bring in decided to bring in her own champion, or rather champions. One of them being Romulus, who's actually the Grand Lancer of Caldera. With that, they believe, however, there are other grand servants who are champions of Alaya, not wanting to kill one of their friends, Merlin, alongside at least that of two other grand servants, wanted to fight against their former allies to keep one of their other former allies alive, and possibly find a different way to prevent the destruction that Gaia sees to happen to the world. As once again, this is the excuse and lie that both Shiro and Merlin decided to, create, mainly so they don't tell the rest about that of the, Throne of Heroes, the counterforce, and the real reason on why Shiro is here in this world to begin with, to be the conduit for the counterforce to connect to this world. With then hearing that, Akino saying, "Shiro-kun, you truly have suffered." Within, Asuka couldn't help but speak up, saying, Shiro-san, is there any way for this to stop? I mean, you're old friends, right? Surely you can." Within, soon, Merlin saying, "That's good words for you, little Miss Nun. And personally, we still want to try a diplomatic approach, but you've already seen what kind of destruction that a servant with the title of Grand in their name is. Romulus is literally the strongest archer in Caldea, and he was still holding back after all." With then soon, Shiro saying, "Exactly. Romulus could do so much destruction and so much more if he wanted to. Many servants have that of a unique ability. Most of us, mainly because some of us used to be mages after all, we have an ability known as a noble phantasm." Within, soon, Seraphil saying, "Noble phantasm? Why have I heard that name before?" With then Merlin saying, "Noble phantasms are literally our ultimate techniques, our ultimate abilities, you could say, in simpler terms. With the noble phantasm, they basically alter the very concept of reality itself. You basically dispersing all the mana around inside of us and around us for either to do literally anything, such as possibly heal allies, defend them, cause a literal destruction that can destroy an entire town and possibly half of a nation as well." With then hearing that, all of them couldn't help but shudder. With then even Kiba saying, Is it possible that Excalibur was once a noble phantasm? Maybe, is that the reason why the church tried so hard to repel it? Because it was a noble phantasm? Having more slitted eyes, he couldn't help but continue to stare at both Merlin and Shiro. Within, soon, Shiro saying, "Romulus is under orders by Gaia, being her champion. He would never destroy. He can't. Their main purpose is to protect this world. Seeing me as the major threat, anything goes. But this world is not meant for destruction. In Gaia's eyes, that even means part of the planet cannot be destroyed as well. They'll try to minimize collateral damage while trying to kill me. That means they're not too afraid to do sneak attacks or catch me off guard when need be, such as that even means putting you in collateral if you get too close to me, which would happen to Sona and her peerage." Within, Sona saying, "Emiya-kun," saying, within, soon saying, "We'll still protect you either way." Within, saying, "Didn't you not hear me? They do not care if, within Tsubaki saying, Shiro-kun, we understand that you're saying all of this to protect us, but we want to protect you after all. With then soon Ria saying, and they won't be the only ones, Shiro. My peerage as well. We will protect you too. Within Rainer also speaking up, as she's already off of Shiro, saying, that also goes for me too. After all, as your beloved and devoted servant, I'll protect you as well. I may not be as strong, but with your guidance and training, I'll be able to grow even more stronger. I'll possibly even reach the level of a cadre. With then soon, Shiro couldn't help but look at Merlin. Within Merlin saying, "Hey, you know them more than I do. You shouldn't be surprised by this point." With then soon, Shiro couldn't help but sigh, saying, "All right, fine. Let's get this over with after all." With after that, all of them couldn't help but actually smile at Shiro as they basically wheeled him down. Within soon, after finally coming to an explanation, everybody began to leave his home, with each and every one of them heading back to their places, except Rias and Rainer, as they lived there. With then Merlin saying, "Well, I better keep an eye on everything out here." Within Shiro saying, "Do you even have a place to live?" Saying, "Not really." Within soon, Shiro couldn't help but have that of a deadpan look, saying, "Don't worry, I'll find a place. And I'm already aware that you're not going to let me stay here," saying, "Wow, you're already looking that far ahead. And I mainly don't want you staying here is because the girls are here, given how much of a goddamn pervert you are," saying, "Smart. That's the very reason on why. I'm not trying to piss you off more than I've already have." With then soon, Shiro saying, "Just thanks. Thanks for helping me out." With then Merlin saying, Don't thank me just yet. We still need to figure out a way to cut the connection between you, Alaya, and the Guardian Force. Soon as that happens, the Guardian Force's connection to that of the Throne of Heroes would be severed as well. Once we figure that out, the sooner the better that the Grand Class servants won't be attacking you anymore. But then saying, "Good," because to be honest, dealing with them and dealing with this crazy ass world to begin with as well is going to be quite an annoyance. Within soon, Merlin saying, "That is true. Even though this world was basically suited by Gaia's preference, it's still a world that seems quite always in danger, to be honest. I wonder the reason why Gaia would allow a world like this to even exist, especially since the era of gods never truly ended. I'll probably come to a realization another time. In the meantime, just just relax. After all, Alaya did say this is your vacation." Within after saying that, he teleported in that of rose petals. Within soon, Shiro saying, "God, I hate that bastard. All too much." Within saying, "Wait, I should have asked him who were the servants helping me out. Ugh, I wonder who the other grand servants who plan on helping me out as well. To be honest, I'm more surprised that Gaia hasn't sent me aid as well. Send any counter guardians to save me, given that she wants the connection to continue on. Lesser than I do, to be honest." With then Shiro taking a deep sigh, saying, "It doesn't matter. Let's just keep going. Let's just get this over with." Within soon, Shiro entered back in his house before saying, "I'll take care of dinner tonight. I guess I'd probably put you guys through a lot of stress." Within soon, Rias and Rainer say at the same time, "No, you don't. We'll take care of it. I'll take care of it." Within soon, both Rias and Rainer continue to argue once again, basically making another night at the Emiya residence. However, little did Shiro and everyone else at Kuo know that another battle is up ahead, and this would be that of a prelude to something greater in the future. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, and yes, now with this chapter out of the way, this whole mini arc of the basically, I would dub that of the Return of the Old Comrades arc, is now concluded, and the next arc will finally go back into main canon, being that of the Excalibur arc with Kakebeel and basically his plans to restart the Great War and all that bullshit. So yeah, look forward to that, guys. And also, sorry if this chapter seems like confusing or basically going around about, or I basically went through that of a rough draft of everything that happened in Fate Grand Order and all that. I really wanted to get through this chapter as soon as possible and not make it as long as it already is. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification cue to date my videos and upload on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my main channel, and my Patreon alongside my Cash App as well. So, with all that said, this is Young Mookie, signing out. Later, guys, and I hope you all take care.